jungle, temple, plain, orangutan. Rivertown and Dreamworld on the Gold Coast is very good. As someone who witnessed the destruction of Wiggles World firsthand and watched the jungle rise up in its place, I think I have a lot to say about this new themed land. Rivertown received a lot of acclaim when it opened. People loved its engaging jungle theming and fun new rides, which include the Jungle Rush roller coaster and Murrissippi Motors vintage cars, and the surprisingly fantastic Jane's Rivertown Restaurant. However, it's not perfect by any means. As someone who mostly makes silent, immersive vlog-style videos, I realise I haven't talked about my thoughts on Rivertown in a comprehensive video, but I recently found a voice, so let's change that. What went right and what went wrong with Rivertown? Before we start, I should mention that at the time of recording, Rivertown isn't 100% complete, so please keep that in mind. And with that said, let's get into it. Firstly, let's talk about what went right. Let's start with the theming. Just look at this. Look at this! The theming around the land is fantastic, and parts I'd even say are world class. The Jungle Rush temple looks incredible on the outside, and it even looks amazing on the queue inside. The area surrounding Murrissippi Motors also looks great, with statues, and even a waterfall with the park's own backside of water moment. With the standout, of course, being a real caribou plane that flew in Vietnam in the 60s. The land also has lots of little details and Easter eggs. You can really tell a lot of love went into creating it all. There's even a backstory to the land, with lore and characters, which link both of the rides together. The land also has its own soundtrack, playing both classic, 1930s style music, and its own unique Indiana Jones inspired theme music. Speaking of the rides, both of the attractions here are great. Jungle Rush is a fantastic family thrill coaster. It's the world's first Vekoma Switchback Coaster, having a really cool and unique inclined turntable element that can send the train both forwards and backwards, which can be used in many unique ways, and really makes each ride different. It's probably the most unique coaster I've ever ridden due to this. It's smooth, really fun, and has some surprisingly thrilling elements, while not being scary enough to frighten away those people who are wary of roller coasters. The indoor queue is fantastic, and is one of the best themed queues I've ever seen. At one point, you can actually see the indoor portion of the ride through a viewpoint, and you can hear the loud, deep, and bassy themed noises coming from within. It's really incredible. The other ride in the land, Murrissippi Motors, is a really fun rebirth of the park's vintage cars attraction, and pretty much superior in every way, with a long layout, different things to look at and drive around, and a really interesting running stream element where you literally drive through the water. Did you know Rivertown has a third attraction? It's Jane's Rivertown Restaurant. This is the brand new version of the old, unloved Billabong restaurant, and boy, did Dreamworld do a good job. It's a great family's table service restaurant, and it's surrounded by animatronics. As a huge fan of them, I feel really right at home here. There's so many little knickknacks in the restaurant on display, with a ton of Easter eggs, references, and actual old props from the park's past. The food is pretty good too. As a vegetarian, I haven't tried most of the menu, but even the veggie options on offer are solid and very enjoyable. And back to the land, while this isn't unique to Rivertown, the staff and service here have mostly been fantastic, with friendly, personable staff who genuinely seem to enjoy their job. As I said, for the most part, as you can sometimes see staff who are clearly waiting for 5 o'clock to hit, but it's noticeably less than at other parks. The operations, at least by Australian theme park standards, have been pretty good from my experience, with Jungle Rush in particular having really solid operations, cranking the trains out quite fast. So yeah, Rivertown is a fantastic little land, and, in my opinion, is easily the best overall themed package area in Australia by far. However, contrary to what some people may think, I'm not a biased Dreamworld fan ogre. It just seems that way, as Dreamworld has been doing a fantastic job lately. I always try to give a balanced viewpoint, and I can tell you right now that Rivertown is definitely not perfect. let's talk about what went wrong with Rivertown and what can be done to fix, or at least improve, those issues. Firstly, the main route down the land feels plain. There's some crates, light posts and bins, but aside from that, it just feels a bit empty. I think a few more theming pieces here would be good. Maybe another notice board-esque piece of theming that gives history and character to the land. Maybe another statue. Bonus points if it was interactive. Also, unlike the rest of the park, the land has no recycling bins, so a lot of bottles will unnecessarily be going to landfill. The boardwalk that looks over the Murrissippi River of Rivertown is currently completely empty. I think this would be a fantastic spot for some tables, chairs, and umbrellas. I'd love to sit out here with a drink on a hot day in the shade, looking out over the wild turtles and ducks enjoying the water. I think it would be pretty comfy. Maybe you could even add some lounge chairs. It would be great for those people waiting for their loved ones on the rides. What else? Similar to the Wizard of Oz jail at Movie World, there's also a few ugly fences and things around the land that do really break the immersion. For example, the view here that you can get of the plane is obscured by a fence, and that really ruins the view. I get health and safety and all that, but surely it couldn't be themed or at least blended in easier. There are similar issues with sightlines, as you can currently see the old Tower of Terror queue building in the back of the land, along with the Kenny's Forest Flyer station, but this, to be fair, kind of fits in with the jungle theme, so I guess it makes sense. I know with the Dreamworld Express track still being worked on, it's hard to comment about sightlines and stuff like that till it's all complete, but at the moment, it's definitely not perfect. Speaking of sightlines, the large show building behind the Jungle Rush Temple isn't themed in. It's just a big green shed. It's not really noticeable from the land itself, as they did take sightlines into consideration there, but outside Rivertown, it looks incredibly ugly and really stands out, almost like a big tumour. I remember being excited that we would be getting a giant temple, thinking how well it would act as a backdrop to the similarly themed Tiger Island next door. But nope. I know it would be expensive and impractical, but it would be great to see this get themed in somehow. Even if you can't go full hog on Pika-Play's prefabricated themed squares. Maybe you could colour it up better, or put up a themed old school style matte painting. Maybe some more planting like bamboo. There's a lot of options. And there's no toilets in the land, with the closest being Tiger Island and I think the ones by Dreamworld's Main Street. This could be a problem if you're in the middle of Rivertown and you need to go, if you know what I mean. There's also a couple issues with Jungle Rush. While the facade and queue are fantastic and world class, the quality slightly goes down with the station. It's still good, don't get me wrong, but I was expecting something like Leviathan based on how good Jungle Rush's queue was, but I guess not. The indoor sections for the ride itself, aside from the turntable room, also don't follow the theming standards, just having plain black walls. But this is something that could still change, of course. As for Murrissippi Motors, there's not much to critique about it. Parts do feel bare, but this will hopefully change over time as the greenery grows in. I'm also not a fan that the cars are still petrol-fueled, as that's not great from an environmental standpoint, but again, this is something that can naturally be changed in the future. As for Jane's Rivertown Restaurant, it's mostly perfect in my eye. There's a couple of issues with the animatronics though, as some of their audio is turned down to the lowest level, which makes them hard to hear. This makes sense for some of the animatronics closer to the tables, but some, like the parrots, actually have custom audio, and it's currently extremely hard to hear them. I'd love to see these get balanced. Also, I'm not as experienced in this sort of thing, but I know a lot of people have issues with how ordering works. Along with menus, the tables have QR codes you can scan to order on your phone, but this doesn't work a lot of the time, with the web page only showing drinks. You're also forced at the moment to order and pay at the bar, and this can get some really long queues. I know it's a new restaurant and all, but hopefully these kinks will get addressed in the future. The worst part of Rivertown, at least for now, in my opinion, is the shop. It has a very, very, very ugly and plain-looking brown exterior. The inside isn't as bad, with some theming like this cool Jeep, but the rest is kind of boring. This used to be the gift shop for Motor Coaster, and was just a quick retheme, so they could sell Rivertown merch close to the land. But I hope they bring the overall standard of this store up to match the rest of Rivertown. Speaking of the legendary Motor Coaster, with the future of this beloved ride being in question, this is likely why they just did a basic rehash on its old store, which also still acts as the ride's exit. Maybe Motor Coaster's going to get a proper re-theme one day to fit in with Rivertown, and they'll just update the store then? Or maybe it's going to get taken out and something new, more fitting will appear here? I guess we'll have to see. But yes, it thankfully looks like the store won't be like this for long, at least I hope not. And honestly, that's all I can think of from the top of my head. Rivertown naturally does have a few problems, but at least in my opinion, Rivertown is fantastic, and we're really lucky to have it on the Gold Coast. It's significantly better than the troubled Wizard of Oz land down the road at Movie World, which opened around the same time. If Dreamworld can iron out these kinks and continue building momentum with their future projects, and keep them to the same standard as Rivertown, then we're in for a treat. I hope you enjoyed this Ogre-Talkie video. If so, please give the video a like, and please consider subscribing to the channel for more fun videos just like this. It's free, and it really helps me out. I make a variety of content, some with my voice and some without. I'd love to have you here. And please leave a comment. I love reading them and I try to respond to them all. Also, a big thank you to my YouTube members, the Ogre Bros and the Ogre Sisters. A big thank you to Straws, Cooper Down Under, SW Stevie 1, RT Husky, Matt Jonas, Anti Furry, TV, Risis is a Bomb, Dr. I Stan, Randall, movies like Everyone Celebrates Dennis Knoll 30th, I Liam's Law, Jack W, Pringle on Top, Jam Kite, Kerry Jekyll, Koala 75, Mr. Yum Yum, and Ches FS. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate it. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ogre and out.